Hello everybody, I am Jarrett Ross, the GeneaVlogger, and welcome to a new video. On today's video, I'm going to be trying something completely new, and that's going to be reacting to DNA test result videos. I had another video planned for today, but I unfortunately had to scrap it because after going through review with other genealogy researchers, it turned out that there were some lines that weren't holding up. So I didn't want to put something out that wasn't verifiable, so I figured I'd give this a shot. So let's jump right into it. If you enjoy, please be sure to give me a thumbs up and let me know if there are any videos that you want me to react to that have to do with genealogy. So let's go. All right.
My parents will be furious. Genetics! Today we are going to learn about our genealogy, or as I like to call it, Eugene.
Okay, so the try
We're working with a very
guys.
cool company called 23andMe. They basically read your spit and tell you where your family is from. Who all those old people were, that bone. If any of the try guys find out they're part anything else, they are going to celebrate like it's their birthday. It would be interesting if I'm more parts of Europe, because I only really know about the German, Irish, Scottish bit. I will pay you $1 million if you have anything African in your results. Oh, man!
I hope he gets like a small 1% or something like that of African.
Your DNA to our 31 reference populations, and we assigned you percentages based on your genetic similarity to them.
All from spit.
All from spit.
How much spit does your laboratory get every day?
Now, not all the companies make you spit. Some of them actually just have a swab that you do.
That's a lot of spit! I have a grandmother from Germany. I have two grandfathers from somewhere in Russia. Who knows? I'm pretty confident today that I'm not going to be surprised by anything. I've always just been a Korean dad.
I'm pretty sure Zach is Jewish, so if he's from Russia, he's not really... Well, if he's Jewish, then he's not necessarily from Russia. He's from the Pale of Russia, which today would actually be more like Ukraine, Romania, Moldova, Poland, places like that.
Specifics. 9 30 seconds well, 3 30 seconds English, 3 30 seconds Irish, and 1 30-second that we don't know. One of these is Scotland. Yeah.
All right, Zach, so what did you think your ancestry was?
I believe that my entire family is Ashkenazi Jew. To be
Yeah,
Jewish
so
is
just
something
like I
that
was
I'm
saying.
very proud of. I think it has shaped who I am and who I aspire to be.
So Zach, you are 99.6% European. All right, let's break down your European a little bit further. How about that?
Sure.
All right, you were correct. You're 88.7% Ashkenazi Jewish.
80. I thought I was full blood.
Well, someone lied to you. You are also Northwestern European, 4.2%.
Okay.
So that's broken down into 0.2% Finnish.
I'm Finnish? Finnish and Scandinavian people are like hot, right? The percentage that's not Ashkenazi, what is it?
Iberian or Italian.
You're part Spanish.
So it could be Spain or Portugal.
But how?
So
What's the percent?
My family was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna not marry a Jew." Is it weird that I'm like disappointed that I don't have more of a mix? Do you always come across white people being disappointed that they're not mixed? I wish I was a little more.
That is the biggest thing that people are disappointed about with these tests is they want to be more mixed. They want that, really rare ancestry, something that's really exotic.
Spicy, but I'm just
spicy.
I'm not vanilla, I'm more like hummus, I guess.
Okay, so 88% Ashkenazi Jewish, 0.2% Finnish, and 0.4% Iberian or Italian. Those are what we call trace results, and so while they might be true, because they're so trace, it's really hard to tell. A big thing to figure that out, if you actually look at the white paper for these companies, they will tell you in that paper the recall and the precision for each population group. And recall and precision basically give you an idea of how well they do with reading each population group. It's kind of a basic way of putting it. But a lot of people will focus on these really small traces, usually because that's the, something different than what they were expecting. But whether or not you can trust those really depends on your research,
All right, Keith, you're up.
Oh boy, I'm a white dude,
99.8% European.
Why do you
It's probably going to be a mix of different European countries, I imagine.
To be fair, we always joke about who the whitest try guy is. So now we're actually going to find out genetically who actually is white. So Keith is more white.
Who's the whitest try guy?
You have 0.2% Sub-Saharan African.
Oh, he had the African. Oh, and it's only 0.2%, so it's a real trace result. But that's hilarious.
I will pay you $1 million. Suck it. I did serve 2%. You don't know if it wasn't love. It could have been like food traders. Yeah, just there. Really good.
The nuances of history and how people interacted and the mixing of people, it's way beyond what people really think it was in history.
Just been friends. Fact is, we'll never know. Spit will never tell us that kind of thing.
True.
So you are 52.7% British and Irish.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So that includes your Scottish ancestry.
Did you know, though, that fried chicken originates from Scotland?
I didn't know that. You are 3.7% Southern European, 0.3% Balkan, and then 3.4% broadly Southern European.
I would say that so far, all the places you've named love their food. I think you like food from everywhere, don't you? That's true. But the Asian countries are too spicy for me typically, so it makes sense that I'm not Asian at all. Also, I don't look Asian.
You are 0.4% Ashkenazi Jewish. Maybe you guys can get bar mitzvah together.
Maybe I was the little bit you needed.
All right.
Okay, so 52% British Irish, trace result Sub-Saharan, trace result Ashkenazi, 20% broadly Northwest European, which a lot of times when you get your results, you'll get a lot of these broadly this, and it's just because the populations of those countries in that area for hundreds of years have mixed with each other, and they're not really defined by the country lines. So it's hard to pinpoint an exact country. So that's very common.
Ned, so what did you think your ancestry was?
My mom's family is half Italian, and my dad's family is very.
He was very
genealogy,
specific
so
with the
my
number. Yeah,
index down
his
to
family's into
30
the.
seconds. That's me. We joke that he's the most white.
You're correct.
What's the number? What's the number?
You are 99.9%. So let's break that down for you. 15.6%.
So let's see, 15.6% French and German. And they always put French and German together, or usually put French and German together just because those two population groups of people who are French and German mixed a lot. And so someone who lives in Germany now and someone who lives in France now may look very similar genetically. And then you get British and Irish, and then you have that broadly Northwestern European. And there I see it's 37.5% Southern European.
French and German.
Yo, bro, you're fresh.
So that's Southern European, that's going to be the Italian.
Okay, are you ready for your Italian?
Oh, yeah.
You are 18.4% Italian.
Whoa! Come on! That's less than 1/5. That's really low.
So you do have 15.1% broadly Southern European DNA, which doesn't mean that it's not Italian. It's just we can't pinpoint it.
It doesn't mean that it's definitely Italian.
Exactly.
No, it's very sad for me.
You are 2.4% Iberian.
Oh! Spanish.
Oh, Spanish.
That explains why you're such a good dancer.
You've got Native American in here.
I do?
Yeah.
Likely, again, not a proud.
And it's probably going to be like
Yeah,
0.1% or something like that.
Of Thanksgiving
Well, it has to be if he's 99.9%
Did you read
European.
what actually happened to Pocahontas?
Sadly, you've got 0.0% Ashkenazi Jewish.
No! Sorry, bro. It's kind of an exclusive thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so now it's time to go over Eugene's result.
Now I will shade in the country or countries my ancestors are from.
Oh, he's Korean. So if he's Korean, then he may be a good mix of Asian just because he's from Korea doesn't necessarily mean it's 100% Korean. Let's see.
Done. I just cannot imagine myself being even any other Asian country. Well, my parents are 100% Korean, and if I'm not, then my mom and dad are gonna get a very surprising call.
You're excited? Nervous?
I'm just expecting it to be Korean.
You are not 100% Korean.
Yep, of course. Called
you
it.
are 63.1% Korean. You are 19.9% Japanese.
19.9.
That makes sense.
My parents will be furious.
You are 13.1% Chinese.
What?
Yeah.
13.1%?
13.1%.
family's full.
13.1% would be the equivalent of like maybe like a great grandparent. You know, and technically it might not even be just a great grandparent. It might be that he has like 3 or 4 different, you know, fourth great grandparents or third great grandparents who, you know, on different sides are coming from these different areas. And, you know, if you think about it, third great grandparents, that's going to be, for someone of his age, probably somebody born somewhere between the 1800, probably 1800 to 1850 maybe. It's kind of a broad range, but, you know, over 150 years ago.
These are not insignificant numbers.
No.
These are like whole chunks of like huge parts of relatives.
That's 1/8.
1/8. Is this the only way I can accept this based on my family history is that the Chinese and Japanese entering my DNA are from like 1,000 years ago. That's the only
Not
explanation.
that far, but
because I've only been told Korean all the way up for like since Korea was created on land.
1,000 years ago would not leave 17 or
yeah, I mean, it's very possible
Most
that all of
likely
his
a
great-grandparents were
great-grandparent
born
or
in
second
Korea.
great-grandparent who is 100% Chinese.
What?
Yeah, that's an oversimplification, though. It could be multiple, more distant ancestors, but that's the basic idea. Probably somewhere in the past, you know, 150, 200, 300 years, he has ancestors who were in China or Japan. Although I will say I don't know how well the precision and recall is for a lot of the Asian population groups, so that might have an effect on it.
I would have actually not been that surprised if it was like 500 years ago or 300 years ago, but in the past 100 years, having a full Chinese and Japanese person within my DNA is really mind-boggling.
I'm telling you, you should like to see
In all
it.
honesty, most people don't even know the names of their ancestors who were alive like 150 or 200 years ago. Most people at best will know their great-grandparents.
Eating panettone at Christmas time just because this tells me I'm only 18% Italian.
Genetics is different from culture. That is your cultural upbringing, and that is still really valid and strong.
I think it's more important than your genetics.
Do you guys want to find out if you're related?
Yes.
Okay.
You guys want to all hold hands?
We could not detect identical DNA segments.
You couldn't detect it because the technology's not ready, or it's not there.
It's not there.
No. But maybe if new technology gets invented.
Give me another tube. I got more spit. I'm gonna spit some more.
1, 2, 3.
Yay,
science!
Wait, does that mean that Eugene can make all the Japanese and Chinese jokes he wants and he's totally clear?
1/5 and 1/6 you can. I don't know if it counts for that.
All right. Well, yeah, that was pretty interesting. You know, typical results. I wasn't too surprised by anything they got. Yeah, the one thing that always seems to be abundant in these videos is everybody always seems to pay the most attention to their trace results. And like I said, it's just because, you know, it's so exotic to have something different than what you expected. So if you end up actually testing at multiple companies, a lot of times the trace results you get at one company won't show up with the other company. And the main reason for that is just because all of these companies are doing a different way of reading the results. And that's where these white papers come in. You can read their white papers and they explain how they come up with their results. Thank you so much for checking out this video. If you enjoyed, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. You can also click probably right about here if you'd like to subscribe. It's completely free to do so. You can also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram at GeneaVlogger. And if you want me to do more of these React videos, then let me know down in the comments and give me some links to some stuff that you might want me to watch that's genealogy related. I'm the GeneaVlogger. See you in my next video.